Hello friends, good evening to all. So let me start the session. So in previous session, what we discussed, friends, in previous session, what we discussed? Can you revise? We are discuss identifiers. Okay. So identifier is just like a variable name, friends. Okay. You know that, right? Identifier is a variable name, class name, function name, and method name. So there are the certain rules to define the identifier, right? So small a to z, capital A to z, 0 to 9, these are the allowed character. These are the rule friends, right? So these things are not allowed at all, right? Hash and at the rate, these are not allowed, right? So rule number two, we already discussed, the identifier should not start with the digit, right? So this thing is not allowed for the identifier, okay? So this is valid, friends. And we have also find that the Python language is a case sensitive language, right? We find this thing also. Python is a case sensitive language. That is, case is important. Here I have taken the two example. The first one was, this was the first one example. In just look at the in word. Here, suppose you give the in word in a small case, so it is a valid one. But if you give the capital in capital letters, that is not a valid. Okay. From these two things, it is very clear that Python is a case sensitive language. But which are other language? Those are not case sensitive. So HTML is not a case sensitive language. Here you can define H1 in a small case, or you can go for H1 in a capital case. So no, there is a no, right? It is a it is not case sensitive language, HTML. Okay. Again, the fourth rule we already discussed, right? No length limit, friends. No length limit is there. Okay. So to define any variable, there is a absolutely no length limit. But good programming practices, you should have the fixed length. Okay. You should have the minimum length. That will be the more better, right? This kind of thing is possible, but it is not a good programming practice. We should not do those things, right? So no length limit, right? There is a no length limit, but you should follow the good programming practice, right? That thing I already covered, right? Then fifth point was, uh, this was not allowed to is RW, reserved word. So these are the reserved word already talk, right? If, else, while, those are the reserved word. In Python total there are the 35 reserved word. You can't use this reserved word as a identifier, right? You can't use those reserved word as an identifier. Identifier means to give the name to the variable, or to give the name to the function, or to give the name to the method, right? So there are the rules. Those rules we have to follow, right? So clear cut, reserved word should not assign as a variable. Reserved word can be class, or reserved word can be the method, friends. These are the reserved word, right? Just like in English dictionary, suppose there are the some word, mango means mango. The word in English, mango means mango. No other meaning. Okay. Though there are the certain meanings for the some words, but let consider the example of those words. Those have one single meaning. Mango means mango. Apple means apple. Okay. You can't say apple as a banana, right? That is not possible. So words are fixed. So that's why you can't allow. You can't allow, right? That are the reserved words, friends. No, let today's session is basically based on the reserved word, friends, right? So we already covered the identifier, and we also take the one example, which is a valid one, which is invalid one. We already take one example. Again, let me start the session with the topic, that is the identifier, friends, right? So which are the different type of identifier? That is the today's, right, for the Python, right, friends? So let me start this terminology for the our simple English language, right? Our English language. In English, friends, in English, somewhere I already covered that English having the lakhs of words, right? So those are words are very reserved words, right? Okay, those have the particular meaning. We can call it as a reserved word. In English, there are the lakhs of words. Okay, now in Python, friends, now in Python, only 35 words are there, friend. 35 words are there. right? 35 words are there. These are for specific purpose. These are for the specific purpose, friends. So 35 words are there. Those words we can say that a reserved word, okay, with certain purpose, right? With a certain purpose, right? So also in Java, friends, similar kind of thing is also in Java. But in Java language, there are the exactly you can replicate this 35. You can find 53 reserved words are there in a Java. But comparatively, as compared to the Python, there are the more reserved word in Java, but Python having the very less reserved word. And if you know all those reserved word, friend, I can say that you have the very good command on the Python language, right? If you know these 35 words, these 35 reserved word, I can say you have the very good command on Python. Like English, if you know the maximum words in English, maximum word in English, maximum, right? So I can say that your English, there is a probability or there is a chance that your English will be the more better. Okay. Same thing is applicable for the Python. If you know this 35 reserved word along with its operations, along with its functions, right? How it work. If you know, I can say that your Python is very good, right? If you compare Python with the Java, you can find just 35 words are there, and this 35 word functionality wise, it is very easy to understand, friend, as compared to the Java, because it contains the 53 words, friends, right? So those are the reserved word. So let me talk which are the reserved word, right? So let me talk which are the reserved word which are in a Python language, right, friends? Python, I will list all the reserved word of the Python language, friends. So Python reserved words. Okay. Python list the Python reserved words. So which are the reserved word in a Python, right? So very first, friend, very first, true, friends. Very first reserved word is a true. Okay. False. This is the second reserved word. None. Friends, listen carefully, right? None is a third reserved word. Then and, friends, then and, or, right? Not is, right? Not is. Let me admit the request. Someone wants to join, right? Let me admit it. Okay. Then is, right? Is. Then if, right? Else, right? Else if in Python is called as a elif, friends. Else if else is called as a elif, friends, in Python. Elif, elif, right? Then while, friends, listen carefully. While, those are the very important words. For, then break, friends, break, then continue, then return, then yield, friends, then yield, then in, right? You can count simultaneously, friends. You try to count, okay? Then try, then accept, then finally, right? Then rise, assert, okay? Then I can say that import, then from, from, then as, then class, right? Then class, def, pass, global, right? Global, non-local, right? Lambda, right? Lambda, del, delete, that's it stands for delete, and with. Now count how many words are, can you count this word, how many words are present, right? Whatever I just wrote here, just type here, how many words are these, right? 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Friends, these are the 33, but total are the 35 words. Okay. So friends, let me add new words also. Okay. So Python is also updated. So two new words are came into the picture. New reserved words. New reserved words are came into the picture, friends. Those are async, async, and await. Await. Those are the reserved word. It is come in picture now, right? These are the new reserved words. So total friends, total 35 reserved words are there. Okay. So total 35 reserved words are there in a Python, friends. Okay. So one second, let me admit the request. Right. So again, these are the 35 reserved ones, but programmatically, friend, programmatically, I want to find. Okay. It is not possible to revise all the reserved words, right? Suppose one or two reserved word I can miss. Okay, it is a very natural thing, right? So how to find the reserved word programmatically, friends? Very simple. So this is my Python file test.py. You can see that this is my Python file test.py. There is a Python library, friends. There is a Python libraries. I already told you in a previous session that Python is having the number of library. There are the n number of library. Already we covered the two library, right? One is a randint, one is a random, and another with a faker module. Okay, two library we are already covered, friends. So there are the number of library, financial related libraries, number of libraries are there, or there is a machine learning library, data science library. You are aware about that, right? And definitely we will do the whatever the library is required. I will do, right? I will take the session for those libraries, right? So here I want to find the keywords. I want to find the keywords programmatically, right? Reserved word, not a keyword, reserved word programmatically. So how to find? So I have to call the library, friends. I have to call the library, or and listen very carefully and watch very properly, friends. So library name is, friends, import. Suppose I want any library, so I just call the word import. Import, call the word import. Import, I want to call the library. The library name is keyword. Keyword. Friends, the library name is a keyword. Now I want to see the reserved word in a Python, right? Programmatically, right? So I will type print. I will type print. Now in the keyword library, friends, there is one module present. Okay. Keyword, in keyword library, let me copy this keyword, right? This is a library. In this library, there is a one module which is responsible to show the number of reserved word in the Python. Number of reserved word in the Python. So KWLIST, KWLIST, that is a module which is responsible to hold the keywords in the Python, right? KW list. Okay. Suppose you install any version of the Python, if you want to find the how many reserved words are there in those version. So you should call this import as a library and import dot KW list. That is the one of the module in this library, friends, right? So let me show you the output now. Let me show you the output. So let me go to the command prompt, right? py test dot py. Let me type py test dot py, right? You can see those are the words, friends. Those are the reserved words. So you can count this also, friends. You can easily count. If you try to count, you will find these are the total 35 reserved word, friends. 35 reserved word. But I want to check. I don't have that much of time. I want to check those reserved word programmatically again, friends. So this is the command and this is the output, right? This is the output. This is the output, right? Let me, right, it is output. Okay. So programmatically, I want to count how many these are in number programmatically. So what I will do, I will call one function, friends. I will call one function. The name of the function is a length. LEN stands for, friend, length. It will return the number of words present in your list. Okay. Let me call the function. That name of this function is a LEN. len. Len stands for, friends, length. Let me count number of reserved word present in the list. Okay, so whatever the output you can see on the screen, this output is in a list, friends. So I want to find the number of elements in my list. Okay, so very simple. What I will do, I will just type py test.py, friends. Py test.py. You can see 35 came in picture. That means what? That means there are the 35 reserved word in the list. You can count, right? So programmatically, I just execute the code, friends. I just count 35 words are present. So those are the reserved word, friends. And definitely in our Python upcoming session, we cover all these reserved word, friends. All the reserved word we will cover, because we have the 3-month time, right? In the 3 or 3.5-month time, I will cover each and every word, each and every reserved word along with the programmatic modules, friends. Don't worry about that, friends. Don't worry about that, right? So I will cover. So just idea sake, I just told you those are the reserved word. Just idea sake. This is a very basic thing, friends, right? So again, there are my certain, after looking to this reserved, friends, listen carefully. After looking at this reserved word, I come to know that, friends, you can see those are the reserved word already typed here, right? I already typed. Okay, so these are the reserved word. Just have the observation on this reserved word. You can find, friends, you can find the first 3 reserved word. The first 3 reserved words are, right, are uppercase symbols. Okay, these have the uppercase symbol. T is uppercase, F is uppercase, N is uppercase for the none. Rest of the words are in lowercase, friends. Rest of the words are in lowercase. These words are in uppercase, right? This one is uppercase. So if I compare it with the Java language, in Java, the reserved word true is a lowercase, right? But in a Python, it is in the uppercase, friends. True, capital T, it is in uppercase. F is also in uppercase. N is also in uppercase. These are the words, friends, if I compare with the Java language. So these are in a small letter in Java. But you can see that rest of the word, no one is the uppercase letter. Okay, no word having the uppercase letter. Only these first 3 words is of uppercase. Okay, rest of the words are the lowercase, friends, right? So that's the difference, friend. That's the difference. Okay, so my another observation is, friends, you can see these are my observations. Just I'm just talking about the observations, whatever the observation I can do, right? So you can see that if, else, elif, while, for, these are the loops. Okay, these things are in a Python, but some things are missing. Some things are missing in a Python, right? Those are absolutely fine. Those words are present in a Python. Some words are missing, right? In C language, for example, in C language, there are some word. We can say that case statement is there. Case statement is there, which is not in a Python language, friends. Case statement is not there. Do while loop is not there in Python, friends. Do while loop is not in a Python. Only while, for, if, else, elif, those are in a Python. Rest of the things are not in a Python, friends. This is my second observation, friends. My third observation is, in C language, there is a word constant, friend. There is a word constant. Suppose I want to define constant value. So there is a word constant, right? We can call as a const, const in C language. But here in this list, you can't see cons word, right? This word is not in a Python language, friends. So constant is in not Python, right? That is the other thing. Again, you can find int, double, char, int, double, char. Those things are not in Python. Have you see all the reserved word properly, right? Can you see here in those words? Can you see int is there, double is there, char is there? No. Those things are not in the keywords in case of the Python. So you will ask me the question, why, sir? So I will simply give you the answer. No need, not required, friends, not required. Because Python is a dynamic language. Python is a dynamic language. We already covered whatever you define in a Python, right? Whatever you define in Python, based on the value you provided, the type will be considered. Based on the value you provide, the type will be considered. For example, suppose I write here x is equals to 99, right? So I will print type, of x, Now let me show the output. So you can see this value. It seems to be integer value, friends. After looking to the 99, it will look like an integer. Okay, so what I told to you, based upon the provided value, the type will be considered automatically. That's why the Python is a dynamic language. Let me check the output, friends. Let me check the output. So yes, first class int, the type is int, right? The type is int, friends. Now let me assign x is equals to true. Friends, let me assign x is equals to true and then print. Let me print and let me find the type of the x. What is the type of the x? Now what is the type of the x? Let me find the output, right? So let me check. 1 second, one bracket is more. Let me check. Yes, first class. Okay. Now initially it was int, now it is a boolean type. Right? Now it is a boolean type. So what I mean to say, based on the provided value, the type will be defined. The type will be identified. That's why Python language is a dynamic type language. But in case of Java, you have to declare. That is integer. int. You have to write int. Right? You have to declare. Suppose there is a character, so you have to declare char. Right? So which is not at all mandatory in case of the Python, friends. That is not at all mandatory, right? So this is my another observation, that int, float, char, such kind of terminology is not in a Python because not required. Why it is not required? Because Python will consider the value based on your, right? Whatever you write, on that basis the Python will consider, right? So that is the beauty of the Python. So that's why it is a dynamic language, right? So that is my observation, friends. Those are my observations, right? So if you have any questions related to that, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will continue further things, right? If you have any question related to that, you can ask me, right? I will pause for some time, right? If you have any question, you can ask. Okay. Otherwise, I will continue, right? Okay. Otherwise, I will continue. So, friends, I hope there is no question. If you have the question, you can ask, right? Okay. So let me continue my conversation. So, friends, in a Python language, everything, friends, in a Python language, listen carefully. In a Python language, everything is an object. Friends, listen carefully. In a Python, everything is an object. Everything is an object. So let me tell you what exactly the object is, friends. Object is certain kind of, you can see that. Suppose I wrote here x is equals to 10. Suppose I wrote x is equals to 10 here, right? Let me admit the request. Someone wants to join. Okay. Someone wants to join. Right. Suppose I wrote here x is equals to 10. So what it means? X is a variable, friends. What it means? X is a variable, and this variable is pointing towards the 10. This variable is a pointing towards the 10, but 10 is stored with some memory location, friends. The value 10 is stored at a some memory location, because to store something you require the memory, right? To store something, right, you require the memory. So x is equals to 10. That means what? X is a variable which is pointing towards the some memory location which contain the 10 value. That thing is called as an object, friend. This thing is called as an object. Okay. So let me show you the output, friends. Let me show you the output for that. Suppose let me type x is equals to 10. Then I wrote print id, because 10 value is assigned to X. Friends, 10 value is assigned to X. That's why ID of X. ID of X. ID means location, memory location. So let me see the output. Let me see the output. Okay. So some memory location will come into the picture, right? So this is a memory location. 140, 713, 692, 48, 1472. This is the memory location, friends. This is a memory location. You can see clearly. You can see this is the memory location. Okay. So from that thing, just that was the very important point I have to discuss. In future we will discuss in more detail, friends. Okay. But we are just started the Python. But what I thought that point is very much important. That's why I take, right, after this keyword concept, I just take this point also. Okay. So what is conclusion? For the whole discussion, everything in a Python is an object. Everything in a Python is an object, friends. Even this true word is also the object, right? Even this true word, this is a keyword, it is also the object. Let me show the output. Everything is in Python is an object. Suppose X is equals to true, X is equals to true, print ID of X, ID of X. You will see the output. You will see the output, right? Some output, some memory location you can see, right? The memory location 140, 713. What it means, friends? What it means? Everything in a Python is an object. Everything in a Python is an object. So object means what? Whatever the memory location is assigned to your value, that memory location, that whole thing is called as a, friends, object. That whole thing is called as a object, friends. That's it, friends. Right? Don't confuse in this concept. Right? Okay. So, all right. Some words are not reserved word in Python, friends. Let me don't confuse, friend. But some words. Suppose print. Print is a word. Okay. Print is a word which is not a reserved word, friends. Print is a word, right? We used to print on the console. Suppose I want to print something on the console, so I have to use a print. Print is a command, but it is not a reserved word. It is not a reserved word. Friends, keep in mind that in the list you can see this print is not present, right? That's why it is not a reserved word, right? It is a just statement to print something onto the screen, right? It is not a reserved word. So if it is not a reserved word, you can definitely there is a it is also the object, friends. Okay, right? It is an object. You will ask for the proof. I will give you the proof, right? I will give you the proof. Print. Suppose I wrote here print. Suppose I wrote here print, right? Print. Let me check the ID of the print, where it is located, at what memory location it is, at which memory location it is present. Let me show that. Let me show that. Okay, friends, you can see 22391 at this memory location. This word is present, friends. Okay, so this is not a reserved word, but everything in a Python is object. Everything that I want to show, that I want to tell to you, right? That's why I covered those things, right? So everything in a Python, these keywords, everything in a Python is object. Everything, right, friends? So that you have to understand here, right? So I think it is very clear to you, right? I think it is very clear to you. Now let me start with one new concept, friends, which is a very much important, right? Which is a very much important, right? Data types in a Python. Okay, every language has the data types, right? Every language means which is the type of data. Which is the type of data? It is called as a data type. Data types in Python. Data types in a Python, right? Let me talk about that. Okay, so friend, listen carefully. Every programming language there is a data type, and you know the type. Friends, listen carefully. Type of the variable. Which type of the variable? Integer, float, complex, boolean, str, or string, we can say that. Everything, these are called as a, friends, these are called as a data types, friends, right? But you are not required to define. You are not required to define. Whatever the value you provide, friends, whatever value you provide, based on that value, Python automatically recognize which type of value it is. Python That is the responsibility of Python virtual machine. Python itself will recognize which type of value it is, whether it is integer type, or it is float type, or it is character type, or it is boolean type, or it is complex type, friends. So that I want to say, right? Because Python is a dynamically typed language, right? I already covered that thing also, right? Python is a dynamically typed language. Why it is dynamically typed? Let me repeat again. Because based on the provided value, the type will be defined, right? Suppose x is equals to 10.1, the type is defined by the Python. If you try to check x type of x, you will find float, right? So whatever the value you provide, based on that type will be decided, right? So in Python, following inbuilt data type. So there is a concept of inbuilt data type in the Python. So in Python, there are some inbuilt data type. Inbuilt, inbuilt data types. Right? Now, which are the inbuilt data type? Listen carefully. Which is one of the most important part, friends. Right? Because that should a very layman level concept, right? Very simple concept. The first is a int, friends. Very listen carefully. First is a int. Another one is a float. Third one is, friends, complex. Fourth one is, friends, bool. And fifth one is str, that is string, right? Those are the data types, inbuilt data type, right? You don't have to declare. Automatically it will consider. Suppose I wrote 10 plus 4j, 4i. Suppose I wrote here 10 plus 4i. The Python automatically recognize that it is a complex number. Okay, so that's why it is a inbuilt. No required to declare, friends. Okay, so those are the data types into the Python, friends. So 5 data types, right? These 5 data types are called as a fundamental data types, friends. Listen carefully. These 5 data types data types in Python are called as fundamental data types, data types, right? Those are the fundamental data types. Along with, right, that is also that this 5 is also the fundamental data types, but list is not yet completed. Few more data types are there, but that are not the fundamental. Only these 5 data types are only fundamental. So list continues, right, friends? List continues for the data types. Sixth one is, friends, listen carefully. Sixth one is a list. Seventh one is tuple. Eighth one is set, right, friends? Ninth one is frozen set. Then 10th one is dict, DICT, that is dictionary. 11th one is range, right, friends? 12th one is bytes, right, friends? 13th one is byte array, and 14th one is none, right? So friend, those are called as the, okay, just data types. But this five is called as a fundamental data types. In the interview room, there is a chance to ask the question, uh, uh, please tell me which are the fundamental data types. Always keep in mind, these are the fundamental data types, right? These 5 are the fundamental data types. Others are the just data type. These are not a fundamental. Okay, these are the building block. These are the fundamental, very basic, right? So these are the fundamental data types. Now, if you compare the data types with the other language, you can see that complex is a one new type of data type. It is introduced in a Python only, right? Right, it is in a Python. It is not in a Java language. It is not in a C language. So what exactly the complex data type? Suppose you want to perform the mathematical operation where imaginary part and real part concept is there. Imaginary part or real part concept is there. For this concept, Python is provided a complex data type, right? If you have to generate, develop some mathematical model for data science or machine learning, definitely there will be the complex term is required, because there is a frequency term. In EC, student very well know about that frequency, amplitude, those things, right? So definitely there is a requirement of, or electrical engineer to students also, or mechanical also, right? So complex is a very much required data type. Okay, without complex, no mathematical operation you can expect, because it is one of the very essential, right, essential data type. That is why it is introduced in the Python language, because it is a required, it is a requirement, right? But it is not at all present in a Java language or in C language, friends. Okay, keep in mind this point also, right? So complex is a new type of data type which is introduced in a Python, right? But it is not in a Java, or it is not in a C language, right? I'm talking about these two languages, especially. Somewhere in R there will be chances. Okay, in R language, I am not aware about the R, but there will be, right? There will be the complex. But if I compare it with other language, C or Java, no complex type of terminology, right, friends? Okay, so these are the data types, friends, right? So definitely I will cover each and everything. We have to spend number of session on the data types also, friends. Number of sessions are there. Don't worry. I will cover each and everything in detail, right? So let me talk about the very first data type, that is the integer data type. Okay, one by one, let me start, right? Integer one. So very first data type is, very first is the int, right? Let me write likewise, right? Int data type. Okay, okay, friends, int. So, so what exactly the int is, friends? Okay, I will discuss one by one. Now let's start with the int. Friends, int stands for integer value. Friends, very simple. Int stands for integer values. Int stands for integer values, right? Very simple, very simple. Which are the integer value which are allowed in a Python? 0, right? Then 20 or 30, 30, 40, or minus 10, minus 15. All these list is, I can continue the list. These all things, okay, right? 1, 2, 3, everything you can expect. This is called as an integer value, or it is called as an integer data type. But you are not required to specify, because Python will internally consider. Python internally consider. You are not required to declare. Okay, let me show the example. Let me show the example. Okay, so let me type py so that I can, right? This is a Python console, right? It is a Python console. Let me assign some value. Let me assign some value. X is equals to, suppose I assign 88. X is equals to 88. Now let me identify the type. So I will type the command type of x, type of x. Okay, you can see it is an integer type, friends. It is an integer type. Let me type another number. Let me type another number. Minus 88, minus 88. Let me right. It is also the integer. You can see the list. Okay, as per our discussion, it is perfectly integer type, and it is internally considered by the Python. Based on, friends, listen carefully. One simple word is there. Based on provided value, the type will be considered. The based on provided value, the type will be considered. You are not required to declare. You are not required to declare the type of the variable. Okay, it is absolutely based on the provided value. That's it. Very simple, friends, right? So again, in your mind, one question will come. Sir, you told us integer, float, complex, bool, str. Okay, it's okay. But where is the long? Where is the double? Very valid question, friends. In your mind, where is the long? Where is the double? Friends, those terminology, let me clear you one thing. Those terminology are not in Python. Those terminology absolutely not in Python. Suppose if you wrote some value here, 444555666. So what you will think? What you will think? It seems to be long or double, right? Uh, it seems to be long or double. This number, very big number. Okay, it is never be integer. but in Python it is integer, friend. In Python it is integer. So long double, this thing in a Python is a integer, friends. It is considered as an integer. Let me show you. Suppose x is equals to this is right this number. So let me show you the output. So it will be the very clear for you, right? Let me show. Let me copy once again. Let me copy once again. Copy and let me paste onto the console. Okay. Let me write now. Uh, type of x, let me enter. Absolutely, it is integer type. Okay, so there is a no such a concept long double, that thing is not in Python. It is integer itself. It is an integer itself, very big number, a very large number. It is absolutely integer. Okay, so it is an integer data types, friends, right? I think it is very clear to you, right? It is integer itself. Again, okay, one thing I want to tell you about, some things are also I will tell you about the integer type. Okay, so suppose I want to, friends, listen carefully. Suppose I want to represent uh, decimal value, right? Or binary value or octal. Okay, yeah, everyone is aware about the number system. Very basic concept. Number system everyone knows, friends. Very easy, right? I think it is a very basic concept. Number system. In there are the decimal form, right? And then binary form. All, I think everyone is very much aware about those things, right? So what I want to say here, friends. So what I want to say, I want to say we can represent, friends. Listen carefully. We can represent integer values, friends. We can represent integer value, right? In the Python, integer value in the Python in the form. Which are the form? First is a decimal form. Another one is a binary form, right, friend? A third one is a octal form, right? And fourth one is a hexadecimal form, friends. Hexadecimal form, friends. We can represent integer value in the Python by using the following ways. Okay, by using the following ways. Let me start the first way. Decimal, decimal, right? decimal, right? So let me start the decimal. How to represent? Okay, in decimal form. Decimal means what, friends? To the base 10. Okay, your phone number or any number which is used in a daily in our routine life. This is a decimal number system. Our computer use the binary number system or hexadecimal number system, and this is the octal number system also, right? So these are the four basic number system, friends. But human being use the decimal number system. No one use the binary, octal, hexadecimal. That, right? Everyone aware about that. Let me talk about the decimal number system. Decimal, right? Let me talk about this thing also, right? So suppose I wrote here. Suppose let me write here x is equals to 10. What it means, friends? X is equals to 10. What it means? It means it is a decimal number. The decimal number 10 is assigned to x, right? 10 assigned to x, friends. Or suppose I wrote here x is equals to 555. Suppose I wrote here likewise. What it means? 555 is a decimal number which is assigned to x, friends, which is assigned to x, right? So let me print. Okay, very simple. How I will print? I will wrote here x is equals to 555. Print x, print x. See the output. This is the decimal number. Definitely you will get the output as a, friends. Definitely you will get the output as a decimal number. Exit. Let me exit and let me execute. Right. Okay. Right. 55. First class. Output is a 55. Okay. Because it is a decimal number, output is a 55. Okay. Let me take this example. Now onward, listen carefully and watch properly what I am going to do. Friends, this is the example, very simple example. Now, second is, friends, second is a binary form. Binary form, right? So, let me write the binary form. So, first of the thing, which digit are allowed in a binary form? 0 is allowed and binary 1 is allowed. To represent any binary form, friends, 0 is allowed. These are allowed numbers, right? Right? To represent the binary form. First class, now listen carefully, right? Now, how to represent the binary number? How to assign x is equals to binary number, right? That is my question. Very, very simple, friends. Very, very simple. How to assign x variable as a binary number? Very, very simple. You have to write 0, right? First class, 0. Then you can write capital B, or you can write small b, right? You can write capital B, friends. Let me remove this. You can assign 0b or 0 0 small b, either capital B or small b, right? So rest of the number, suppose your binary number is 1010. I think it is 10. 1010 1111, that is 15. Okay, everyone is very much aware about that, right? So is this very basic concept. Now let me assign this value to my x variable. X is equals to, first I have to write 0b or 0 small b. I have to write. Why I have to write? Because I have to tell Python machine that I am assigning the binary value. Okay, because Python is not that much intelligent, right? You are intelligent, friend, but Python is not intelligent. So you have to tell, I am going to assign you the binary value. I am going to assign x variable to the binary value. So let me assign this value 1010, and we will see the output. 0b is that what it will tell, it is a binary number, and 1010, it is a allowed numbers, allowed digit for the binary number. So I just assign the values. Now let me print the value. Print. Now let me print print x. Let me print. Okay, now I will copy and I will paste. I will copy and I will paste. 1 second, right? Test.py. I will copy, I will paste, right? Now see what will be the output. Okay, friends, just see what will be the output. Okay, properly see what will be the output. Shall I execute? Friends, shall I execute? Okay, see the output, friends. It's first class, it's 10. It's 10. It is a decimal 10. Whatever you provide the value to the variable, but output is always in a decimal form, friends. Output is in always a decimal form. Suppose now you are assigning the different value. Let's say you are assigning any different value. Suppose x is equals to 0b. 0b means what, friends? It is a binary number, or small b. It is a binary number. Now you want to assign triple 4 times 1, right? 4 times 1, and you have to print the result. You have to print the result. You want to print the result. Print x. Print x. So see the output properly. See the output properly, friends. See the output properly. Okay. Control V, Control S, and let me show the output. Okay, definitely it will return the decimal number 15, right? First class, it will return the decimal number 15, because Python will convert into the human understandable form. That's it. Okay, because suppose tomorrow if I wrote here 1110010, okay, is it understand by human? Not understand by human. So Python virtual machine will translate into the decimal form. Whatever the number you will provide to the Python virtual machine, it will convert and it will show in the form of decimal number system. This is the number 251335. That is a conversion, friend. Very simple. So first, it is a decimal number, but which form? It is a binary form. And what is the output? In the form of decimal number system, because human understand the decimal number system. Human can't understand this number system, friend. That's why. Okay. Let me clear this thing also first. Okay. So I think it is very clear to you with these examples, right? So this is example number 2. I think it is example number 2. Okay. Example number 2 is clear, right? It is clear to everyone. So let me talk about the third number system, that is octal. 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 Octal number system. Okay. Number system. Okay. Okay. Now, friend, listen carefully. Listen carefully. What are the allowed digits? Which digits are allowed in an octal number system? I can say 0 to 7. 8 is not allowed. You can count them. You can count them. 0, count them. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many digits are these in number? Total 8. That's why octal number system. This is the octal number system, friends. Right? Right? Very simple. So, how to represent the octal number system? How to represent the octal number system? Very simple, friends. Very simple. You just write 0, right? And then you have to write O. You have to write O. You can see 0, first is a 0 and another one is a small o, or you can write 0 and capital O. Both are valid, friends. Both are valid. Both are absolutely valid, friends. Now let me assign some value to the x. Definitely octal value. So I will write 0, small 0 or either capital 0. Both are valid. Let me take the small o, right? Now let me write the octal number. So in octal number system, which are the valid number from 0 to 7? So let me write 1, 2, 3, 7, right? I cannot write 9. I cannot write because it is not the octal number. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 7. Perfectly it is valid. Now let me print. Let me print the value of the x. Let me print. Definitely it will again return me in the form of decimal number system, because Python knows human understands decimal number system. It doesn't understand binary number system, or it doesn't understand hexadecimal number system. It perfectly understand, or it doesn't understand octal number system. It perfectly understand the decimal number system. Let me paste, right? So 0, small o, 1, 2, 3, 7. It is an octal number. Let me show the output so that the story will be clear. Okay. 671. It's 671 in a decimal number system. It's perfectly 671. Okay. So this is a one example for you. Let me paste that example in our notes, right? Okay, I think already covered. Okay, let me take the example number 2. X is equals to 0. Now this time I will take the capital O. Now 777. It is a largest octal number. It is a actually it is the largest 3-digit octal number. Okay, it is the largest 3-digit octal number in decimal number system, friends. In decimal number system, which is a 2-digit largest number, 99, which is the 4-digit largest number, 4 times 9, which is 5-digit largest number, 5 times 9, right? Similarly, in a octal number system, which is the largest number, 2-digit largest number, 777. This is a 3-digit largest number, right? 777. Now let me print. Definitely it will in the form of which number system? Decimal number system, because Python knows human understand decimal number system. Let me paste. Let me execute. Okay, let me execute. Okay, 511. It is a human understandable form. 511. Absolutely, it is a decimal number system. So 511 in a decimal number system is the highest number in a octal number system. Very simple, because 777, this 3-digit is the highest in a octal number system. Very simple. Okay, don't be confused. Don't confuse, friend. Very simple concept, right? Not a very difficult. Very simple. Okay, so In simple word, I can say that Python will translate in the form of decimal because he knows human understand the decimal number system. That's it. Now, last point for the today's session is a hexadecimal number system. Hex number system. Hex number system. Hex number system. Okay. So let me admit the request. I think one request is there. Okay. Okay. Right. Right. First class. One request is there. Okay. Fine. So hex number system. So let me write. Now first thing is, friend, very clear how to represent the hexadecimal number system. Right. That is very important. Right. Very allowed. What are the allowed digit? Allowed digits. Okay. Which are the allowed digit? So allowed digit are, friends, 0 to 9. Friends, 0 to 9. It is allowed. Then A means 10. A in a decimal number system means 10. A to F. Those are the allowed digits and character in a hexadecimal number system. 0 to 9, A to F. Friends, listen carefully. So, how to represent? What is the prefix? Or I can say the prefix to represent. So, to represent the hexadecimal system, you have to write 0, capital X, or there is option. You can write 0 or small x, capital X or small x. Okay. So everywhere you can see the 0 is a common. 0 is a common to represent. Everywhere 0 is a common. In octal, 0 is a common. You have to write small o, either small o or capital O. For binary number system, again there is a 0, small b or capital B, right? Same thing here in hexadecimal, you have to consider x, that is a capital X or small x to represent, right? So let me give the example. X is equals to, friend, listen carefully, x is equals to 0, right? So let me take the example, small x. Now f is a largest 3-digit number. Okay, if I type 3 times, what it means? It means it is the largest 3-digit hexadecimal number. Largest 3-digit hexadecimal number. Print x. What will be the output? The output will be in the form of decimal number system, because Python will convert into the decimal number system, friends. Very simple. Python will convert into the decimal number system. 4095. Very simple. 4095. It is a human understandable form, right? So Python convert in a decimal number system, friends. Right. So that is the example for this also. Okay, I think it is very clear. These examples are very clear to everyone, right? Let's say this hexadecimal number system, now, friend, it is called as a base. Like, let's say base 16. What is the base? Base is the 16. What is the base for the binary number 2? The base is 2. What is the base for octal number system? The base for octal number system, base is 8. Okay, very simple. Okay, friends. So I think for the today's session, it is it is sufficient, very sufficient. In the next session, we will meet for the continuation, friends, with the sum of the examples, right? So we will meet for the continuation in the next session, along with one concept, that is how to convert any number system number into the another number system. Suppose I want to convert binary number into the octal number, how to convert? Suppose I want to convert hexadecimal number into the binary, how to convert? That concept we will cover in the next session, friends.